One of my favorite things in the world to do is watch Friends. I know it's been off for years and years. It's not even around, but I still find myself binge watching old episodes. And I was thinking about this today and thinking, it's the predictability of the friends in the circle, right? You have Chandler with his quirkiness, Monica with her type A of just everything has to be so neat and tidy and organized. It's Phoebe's ability to make you laugh at her silly songs. Ross always comes in with those smart comments, and Joey and him and his food, like it is just so hilarious. And of course, Rachel, she just brings everybody together, and it's just such this beautiful, cohesive team of people. And it's why I wanted to come on and share with you today that I have an opportunity for you to find your friends in the content creation space. So if you are thinking about creating your first or your next digital course, I don't want you to miss this opportunity because Amy Porterfield just opened the doors for registration for her Course Confident Bootcamp. And I'm actually offering a special bonus for anyone that registers for the Course Confident Bootcamp through my special link. So I want you to go to krystalproffitt.com/Amy-bootcamp to register. That's krystalproffitt.com/Amy-bootcamp. And what you're going to find when you get there is I have this special bonus private podcast series. It's called Money Mindset for Creators. So I want you to go register for Amy's bootcamp, download the podcast, and immediately start listening to it, because what this training is set up to do is to help you get your mind right about monetizing your content, making money so that you can fuel your content creation dreams. So go to krystalproffitt.com/Amy-bootcamp to register for Course Confident. And I cannot wait for you to find your friends and find the people that will be there for you. Do you see what I did there? Yeah, nice little friends segue connection. Go to krystalproffitt.com/Amy-bootcamp. And I cannot wait to see you inside. Okay, let's get into today's episode. Welcome to a special bonus episode just for the Proffitt Podcast listeners. Welcome to the Proffitt Podcast, where we teach entrepreneurs how to start, launch, and market their podcast. I'm your host, Krystal Proffitt, and I'm so excited that you're here. Thanks for hanging out with me today, because if you've been trying to figure out the world of podcasting, think of this show as the time-saving shortcut you've been looking for. So let's get right to it, shall we? Okay, so when this episode airs, it will actually be Christmas Eve 2020. And what a year to reflect on, because if you're anything like me, 2020 has been kind of a doozy. And what I've loved about this year is the fact that I journal, and that was already like an established habit that I had well before this year started. And I have an entire journal full of stuff that I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to show this to my kids one day, or show this to my kids' kids and be like, look, this is how 2020 went down. There was lots of expletives in there, like WTFs in really big letters, and just a lot of stuff that I look back and I'm just like, I remember thinking in March of this year, and our family was actually on spring break when everything kind of went to hell in a handbasket. And I look at, here we are, December 2020, right? And it's Christmas Eve. And what do I want to remember most about this year? This is a question I've been thinking about a lot lately. And the number one thing that I have taken away from this year is to be more intentional with everything, more intentional with my time, with my family, more intentional with my business, more intentional even creating podcast episodes and showing up here on a consistent basis. So instead of taking up a lot of your time and, trying to teach something that's super inspiring and motivating and will change your life in 2021, I really just wanted to come and tell you, thank you so much for listening to this show. Because believe it or not, podcasting has been somewhat of a kind of therapy for me this year. I'm not someone that suffers from depression, but I can tell you that I had a lot of anxiety this year, and I know for a fact that I'm not alone in that. And I am just so grateful to have this podcast as something that I could healthfully escape to from time to time when I started feeling overwhelmed. And I know that that's like, oh, that's a little borderline workaholic there, Krystal. At least that's what I tell myself at times. I'm working on that. But I just love podcasting so much. And people, I'll get those stares from people that are like, no, really, why do you love it that much? It's not that great. It's not that cool. And it's those people that I want to shake and say, you just don't get it. I love it so much because it connects me to other people just like you. It gives us this same connection that is just it's unexplainable to me. Whenever I listen to a podcast, I feel like I could go walk up to them on the street and say, do you remember in that one podcast episode where you said this? And they'd probably have no idea what I was talking about. But I don't know. I just wanted to hop on and say thank you so much for being a part of this community. Thank you so much for making my 2020 better. Thank you so much for just showing up every single week and listening to the shenanigans that goes on here on this show. So whatever holidays you are celebrating this year, I wish you the best holiday ever. I do, the best holiday ever, because we've had one of the craziest years ever. And I hope that you can take some time to enjoy your family, enjoy some self-care, and hopefully take a little time off before we skyrocket into 2021 with great intentions and some new goals, because let's be honest, I'm all about the goals too. So happy holidays from everyone at Proffitt Media. And I have to say it because it's just going to happen. Make sure you keep it up because we all have to start somewhere. Hey, Proffitt Podcast listeners. Thanks for sticking around to a little bit after the episode to hear this special message because I want to hear from you. We are starting a new segment called Fan Mail Shoutouts, and I want to hear from you, and I want to hear your questions. What do you want to know? What questions have you been dying to ask me? So here's how to make this happen. Go to the app where you're listening to this podcast right now. Go there. I'll wait a second. Okay. Now, once you're there, you're going to see a hyperlink at the top of the episode description that says, send Krystal a text message. And that's all I want you to do. Send me a text. It could be casual, informal. It could be totally anonymous. Or if you want, you can include your name and the name of your podcast or content wherever you are creating, and I will give you a special shout out in an upcoming episode. So again, go to the show notes for where you're listening to this episode right now, and it will say, send Krystal a text message. And I cannot wait to hear from you and give you a shout out in an upcoming segment of Fan Mail Shoutouts.